Would you be able to all just share your top piece of advice?
It's not about what we want to say, it's about what our audience needs to hear. That was a lesson I learned really the hard way with my first business, which was all about sustainable manufacturing. I was talking to people who needed to hear a very different message from what I was going out with. And I was always told, back when I went to entrepreneurial events in the 2000s, people were saying, it's all about passion. You just got to believe in what you do more than anybody else does. But if nobody else believes in it, then you're not going to get a sale. So it's all about empathy and understanding what does your audience need to hear.
Don't compromise. Sometimes there are easier ways to do something, but maybe they're not better ways. And it's just one example would be, for one of our labels, Ocean Lovers, there were way easier ways to make these suits and use fabrics that are not sustainable or less sustainable or, kind of sustainable. So, and it's very tempting to go down that path because it's cheaper and it's quicker and it's easier. But I think if we take a pledge to whatever we do, like, for example, pledge to the ocean, we have to make sure that we're sticking to it and that the whole supply chain is also in order. Otherwise, we're hypocritical.
Don't try to bore the ocean. Amazon was able to sell some books online. Really simple, really very linear process. And that enabled them to kind of do everything from sending people into space to running most of the businesses, internets in the world to, everything else in between. But they started just trying to ship books from a buyer to a seller.
I think the overwhelming message here is that you need to be solving a customer problem first and foremost. Solving the most pressing challenges that our world face are so important because it does attract customers, but you have to communicate it with value. It does attract more investment, but you have to be able to articulate that impact correctly because impact washing is a thing. And we're in an era of radical visibility, and saying something and not really following through with it is not going to fly anymore. Having those aspirational targets of being the most sustainable brand in the world, but your supply chain isn't up to scratch, doesn't fly. So thank you so much for your time. We are on a mission to create the next gen of sustainable entrepreneurs.